Okay, this is finish oil, putting an oil groove, steep helix in an Ace motorcycle bearing from a 26 Ace, and just thought you guys might like to see how the machine that I do it on anyway. And okay, the way this thing works is in order to put a steep helix in this machine is basically set up kind of like a lathe. This is a Fisher, and it has a cam that you want. If you want to have just a steep helix, not a figure-8 groove or a straight groove, you engage that cam, and that comes on down over here, and at the back part of the stroke, it pulls the cutter away, and that's what gives you the steep helix. If you left it in there and didn't move it out, it would create a figure-8 oil groove. So anyway, that's it. What we got here is that I got a preset stop over on this side. So just come on out like that. Once you get up to that stop, that's the pre-described depth of the groove for the oil. This is a non-pressured engine, so what that means is that I'll have to assemble this, split it, assemble it on the rod, put the shims in it, and then at that point, after that, then you have to drill the holes through the web of the connecting rod into the bearing. And there's a hole in the bearing where that oil hole goes to in the shell itself, and that basically oils the bearing. If I can keep the the parts from falling off. Okay, so I go in up against this other stop, which is on the other side, and shut it off. And next is to take that off. Hang on. Bear with me. Just get the bar and the cutter out and loosen the chuck up enough to get the shell out. So that's what the finished groove looks like. And it doesn't go all the way through. It terminates about 3/4 of the way through on both sides. And then the hole will actually go through this area here. And then there's a hole, after the bearing is split horizontally, there's a split line right there. After it's split horizontally, you have a hole that comes in from the top and a hole that comes in from the bottom. And the bottom cap on this rod has got a dipper cast into it with a hole. So even though this is a non-pressurized motor, that dipper, rotating at a couple of thousand RPM, is actually force feeding oil through that hole up into the bearing. And the counter rotation of the crankshaft in those grooves creates a pretty good coating of oil. So it's, well, in one way it's primitive, in another way it's a pretty cool system. This material that I'm using is 850 aluminum. Very difficult to come by. I ended up having to actually have it made myself. I had ingots made and a pattern made to pour it. So anyway, that's my little job I got going here. Thought you might like to see it. Talk to you later.